most important substances required in the formation of blood are iron, vitamin B12, folic acid, and erythropoietin. Now, for the purpose of simplicity and easy understanding, this topic is covered in 6 parts, that is 6 videos. First part, that is the first video, deals with introduction to hematinics and the process of erythropoiesis. That is the process of formation of red blood cells. Process of erythropoiesis helps us understand how iron, vitamin B12, folic acid and erythropoietin are essential for the formation of red blood cells and how their deficiency results in anemia. Second video, that is part 2, covers physiology of iron, that is absorption, transport, metabolism and physiological functions and excretion of iron. Third video, that is part 3, covers iron preparations, that is oral and parenteral iron preparations and acute iron poisoning, that is iron overload. We will discuss symptoms and treatment of iron overload. Fourth video deals with physiology of vitamin B12, that is absorption, transport, metabolism and physiological functions of vitamin B12 and oral and parenteral vitamin B12 preparations. Fifth video deals with physiology of folic acid, that is absorption, transport, metabolism and physiological functions of folic acid and its oral and parenteral preparations. Sixth video, that is the last video in the series, covers pharmacology of erythropoietin, a hormone produced by kidneys and its role in the formation of RBC. This is the fourth video, that is hematinics part 4 in the series of videos on the topic hematinics. Now, as we all know, hematinics are the substances required in the formation of RBC. Now, vitamin B12 is essential for the synthesis of red blood cells in the bone marrow. Now, today first we are going to discuss physiology of vitamin B12. Under physiology of vitamin B12, we will cover absorption, transport and physiological functions of vitamin B12. Secondly, we will cover oral and parenteral preparations of vitamin B12. Now, vitamin B12 is commonly called as cobalamin. It is a water-soluble vitamin. It has a number of forms. It comprises of a number of forms. And the most important forms of cobalamin are cyanocobalamin, deoxyadenosine cobalamin, methylcobalamin and hydroxycobalamin. Now, when we talk about the sources of vitamin B12, vitamin B12 is synthesized by certain bacteria in the GIT of animals and thus it is absorbed and it is concentrated in the animal tissues. And therefore, the rich sources of vitamin B12 are liver, beef and lamb, chicken, fish, egg and dairy food. Now, very important, the role of vitamin B12 in erythropoiesis. Now, erythropoiesis we know is the process of formation of red blood cells in the bone marrow is called as erythropoiesis. Now, first function, it is required for the synthesis of purines and pyrimidines. That means it is required for the synthesis of DNA. Now, synthesis of DNA is very essential during the process of erythropoiesis because synthesis of DNA is required for the division and differentiation of red blood cells precursors to finally develop into erythrocytes, that is the mature RBCs. Now, the process of formation of the RBC in the bone marrow, that is erythropoiesis, has been covered in my first video, that is hematinics part 1 in detail. And I have also covered requirement of vitamin B12 during the process of erythropoiesis, that is how vitamin B12 is useful for the development of proerythroblast to erythrocyte. So, if you wish, you can refer to that video, and that first video, that is the process of erythropoiesis, that will be very helpful for you to understand all the videos on hematinics. Secondly, vitamin B12 is essential for the condensation of nucleus. This also we have discussed during the process of erythropoiesis, that there is condensation of nucleus and finally nucleus is extruded or it is thrown out of the erythrocyte precursor. Vitamin B12 is essential for the division and proliferation of RBC precursors during differentiation, during the development of proerythroblast to erythrocyte. Now, on the 5th day, the entire process of erythropoiesis is completed in 7 days. And on the 5th day, the erythrocyte precursor, that is reticulocyte, it is released in the blood. And this reticulocyte, it undergoes maturation in the blood, and finally it produces erythrocyte. So, maturation of RBC in the peripheral blood, this also requires supplementation of vitamin B12. Now let's understand absorption and transportation of vitamin B12. Now before that, recommended dietary allowance. In adults it is 1 to 3 microgram of vitamin B12 per day, whereas in pregnancy and lactation 3 to 5 microgram of vitamin B12 per day. Now when we talk about the absorption and transportation of vitamin B12, now the absorption starts from the mouth. Unbound or free vitamin B12 is absorbed under the tongue, in the mouth, in the blood capillaries. Now, vitamin B12 that is bound to the proteins in the food, it reaches the stomach. In the stomach, this protein bound vitamin B12 is broken down by the pepsin. Now, gastric mucosa also produces vitamin B12 transporters, that is transcobalamin 1, also termed as heptacorine or R binder. The gastric mucosa also produces intrinsic factor, that is IF. Now, vitamin B12, it binds to the R binder, that is heptacorine, forming a complex. Now, this complex, it is transported to the duodenum. Now, here the vitamin B12 is shown as a green color triangle. So, this complex of vitamin B12 and R binder, it is transported to the duodenum. So, in the duodenum, pancreatic protease, again an enzyme, it breaks complex of B12, vitamin B12 and R binder, so that there is detachment of B12 from the R binder, and there is release of vitamin B12. Now, this vitamin B12 in the duodenum, it attaches itself to the intrinsic factor. So, now there is formation of a complex between vitamin B12 and intrinsic factor. Now, this complex of intrinsic factor and cobalamin, it is transported to the distal ileum. So, finally, the complex of vitamin B12 and the intrinsic factor, it reaches the ileum. So, these are the mucosal cells of the ileum. These are the anterocytes. Now, these cells, they possess receptor, that is termed as intrinsic factor receptors, and vitamin B12 intrinsic factor complex binds to the intrinsic factor receptors on the mucosal cells of ileum, and vitamin B12 is absorbed. So, these green color triangles, these are the vitamin B12. So, vitamin B12 is absorbed in the intestinal mucosal cells. Now, this vitamin B12 now binds to transcobalamin 2, that is again a transporter. So, vitamin B12 binds to transcobalamin 2 in the intestinal mucosal cells, and it is transported in the portal blood, and from the blood this is further transported, vitamin B12 is further transported to the liver and to the target tissues. Now, vitamin B12 is stored for years in the liver, while in the bone marrow cells, vitamin B12 is utilized for the synthesis of red blood cells. Most important of all, now let's understand physiological functions of vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 is essential for the synthesis of DNA. And as we have discussed during the process of erythropoiesis, synthesis of DNA is essential for the division and proliferation of RBC's precursors, so that they develop into erythrocytes. Now, cobalamin, that is vitamin B12, it accepts a methyl group from methyl tetrahydrofolate, and that results in the formation of methyl cobalamin. Now this tetrahydrofolate, it receives a methylene group from serine, that is another amino acid, and it forms methylene tetrahydrofolate. Now this methylene tetrahydrofolate then transfers its methylene group to deoxyuridine monophosphate, resulting in the formation of deoxythymidine monophosphate. Now this deoxythymidine monophosphate further produces thymidine, which is a nucleotide for DNA, which is required for the synthesis of DNA. Second important physiological function of methyl cobalamin. Methyl cobalamin, that is vitamin B12, it reduces the level of homocysteine. Now, increase in the level of homocysteine is a risk factor for atherosclerosis, platelet aggregation, and ischemic heart diseases. So, cobalamin in the presence of methyl tetrahydrofolate forms methyl cobalamin. This is a methyl cobalamin. Now, methyl cobalamin transfers its methyl group to homocysteine, forming the methionine. So, homocysteine is converted to methionine, that reduces the levels of homocysteine. Another very important physiological function of vitamin B12. Vitamin B12 reduces levels of methylmalonic acid. Now, increase in the methylmalonic acid causes accumulation of methylmalonic acid in the myelin sheath of the nerve cells. And this results in the degeneration of myelin sheath and impairment of neurological functions. Now, methylmalonyl coenzyme A, it produces succinyl coenzyme A in the presence of methylmalonyl coenzyme A mutase and cobalamin, that is adenosyl cobalamin. So, this way methylmalonyl coenzyme A is converted into succinyl coenzyme A, and there is reduction in the levels of methylmalonic acid. And now let's discuss causes of vitamin B12 deficiency. One of the causes is Addisonian pernicious anemia. Now, in this disorder, there is increased production of antibodies. It is an autoimmune disorder. There is increased production of antibodies against the intrinsic factors. So, these antibodies, they destroy intrinsic factor. There is reduced availability of intrinsic factor in the body, and because of the fall in the levels of intrinsic factor, there is reduced absorption of vitamin B12, and that causes deficiency of vitamin B12. This we have already discussed, role of intrinsic factor during the absorption of vitamin B12. Second cause behind the deficiency of vitamin B12 is the gastric mucosal damage. As we know that gastric mucosa is the one which produces the R binder, and R binder is required for the absorption of vitamin B12. So, gastric mucosal damage also causes deficiency of vitamin B12, for example, chronic gastritis. Again, intestinal mucosal damage, reduced absorption of vitamin B12, for example, Crohn's disease. Another cause can be consumption of vitamin B12 by abnormal flora in the intestine, for example, in the blind loop syndrome. Blind loop syndrome is a syndrome in which the abnormal flora in the intestine consumes vitamin B12, and therefore there is deficiency of vitamin B12. It can be because of the nutritional deficiency. Normally it can be seen in the vegetarian people. Then a deficiency of vitamin B12 can be because of the increased demand, for example, pregnancy and lactation, and therefore vitamin B12 supplementation should be provided during pregnancy and lactation. Now let's talk about the clinical features or manifestations of deficiency. Now deficiency of vitamin B12 results in the megaloblastic anemia. Now, megaloblastic anemia is an anemia. There is fall in the level of, there is fall in the number of RBCs. That is the anemia. Now, in this anemia, the size of the cells is large, that is the mega, and the cells are immature. Therefore, the RBCs, they are termed as megaloblastic, and the anemia is termed as megaloblastic anemia. Now, vitamin B12 is essential for the division and differentiation of red blood cells precursors during the process of erythropoiesis. Now, fall in the levels of vitamin B12 produces abnormal RBCs precursors. RBCs produced due to vitamin B12 deficiency are larger than the normal RBCs. They are immature, and because of which they are broken down and this reduces the total RBC count, resulting in megaloblastic anemia. Another clinical feature can be pernicious anemia. This is also the anemia in which it is also a type of megaloblastic anemia, and it is caused because of the deficiency of intrinsic factor. An intrinsic factor is very essential for the absorption of vitamin B12. Another clinical feature can be pancytopenia. There is fall in the number of RBCs, WBCs as well as the platelets. Another important feature is the glossitis. Now, glossitis is an inflammation of tongue. Now, this vitamin B12, it is required for the synthesis of DNA. Now, if our tongue is wounded or it is slightly ruptured, there is rapid diffusion of mucosal epithelial cells of the tongue. All cells are replaced by the new ones, and thus the tongue heals very rapidly, very fast. Now, vitamin B12 deficiency leads to deficiency of DNA precursors, like for example thymidine, and thus old epithelial cells are not replaced. There is slow division of cells. This causes inflammation of tongue. This causes glossitis, and there is difficulty in talking and swallowing. This already we have discussed during the physiological actions of vitamin B12. Deficiency of vitamin B12 increases the levels of methyl malonic acid, and increased methyl malonic acid deposits in the myelin sheath, and this causes impaired neurological functions. And the deficiency of vitamin B12 also increases the levels of homocysteine, and increase in the levels of homocysteine increases the inflammatory cytokines, which increases the risk of atherosclerosis. Increase in the levels of homocysteine also causes increase in the platelet aggregation, which is responsible for the formation of blood clot, and this all results in the ischemic heart diseases. Now let's talk about the treatment of vitamin B12 deficiency. Now, if there is a nutritional deficiency, oral supplements are given. If the deficiency is because of the malabsorption of vitamin B12, then normally parenteral supplements are given. Now, preparations of vitamin B12, first preparation is a cyanocobalamin. It is a preferred oral supplement. Then hydroxycobalamin, it is a preferred parenteral supplement, and it is available as intramuscular as well as subcutaneous injection form. Then methylcobalamin. Methylcobalamin, that is a methyl vitamin B12. It is a coenzyme. It is a coenzyme, and it is required for the synthesis of methionine and for the synthesis of S-adenosyl methionine. It is very essential for the integrity of myelin. This we have already discussed during the physiological actions of vitamin B12. Now, methylcobalamin is primarily required for correcting neurological defects in diabetics and alcoholics, and in other forms of peripheral neuropathy. Now, talking about the adverse effects, all preparations are quite safe. Rare allergic reactions on injections can occur due to contaminants. So, this is all about the physiology of vitamin B12 and its preparation. If you find the session helpful, kindly like, subscribe and share this video. You can ask your doubts by writing in the comment section. Thanks for watching the video.